So, first, we're going to start by covering paid time off. So, this combines vacation time, sick days, and personal days into one bank of time. So, this is a broad category that a lot of employers use as a great recruitment tactic, also great for retainment for the staff of employees. So, next, we have paid family and medical leave. So, this is extended absences for major life events like the birth of a child or serious health conditions. Paid family medical leave often comes with specific eligibility criteria that's often governed by federal and state regulations, making compliance a critical concern. And then lastly, this is the one we're going to be covering today, which is paid sick leave. This is more specific, designed to cover short term absences due to illnesses or medical appointments. Unlike PTO, paid sick leave can often be governed by state or local laws as it has no federal mandate around it. And each place often has its own rules when it comes to accruals, usage, and carryover. So, where did this big drive for paid sick leave come from? So, first, it's been a critical topic for both employees and employers, as we've seen again, a lot of state and local jurisdictions take on their own approach to how they want to approach paid sick leave. Research shows that it can significantly reduce the spread of illnesses as employees feel more comfortable staying home when they're sick. So during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a highlighted vulnerability of workers that didn't have paid sick leave and a huge need for there to be some type of regulations and mandates around how we take on paid sick leave. And at the same time, during COVID-19, we all see the big shift in workers' preferences, right? As we saw remote work become a big thing, employers seeking more from their employees. So employees were seeking employers who prioritize their well-being and offered enhanced benefits. And then we also seen a lot of states take on an approach to paid sick leave as there is no federal mandate for it. So a lot of states and local jurisdictions wanted to take their own approach to paid sick leave. So we saw a lot of regulations come into place over these past few years as we see the impact from COVID, the shift in worker preferences, and states and local jurisdiction wanting to take this into their own hands. So there's a few common trends you'll see as we talk about these different laws and rules around paid sick leave. So first, a lot of people have different approaches to their accrual policies. So first, we have standard rates. So something like for every 30 hours you work, you'll receive 1 hour of paid sick leave. So that would be something like a standard rate versus annual caps. So we often see annual caps at 24 or 40 hours. And so that will be the paid sick leave the employees are presented with. And that will be for the annual period of time. And they can just have that paid sick leave instead of going with the standard rate. We also see a lot of different eligibility requirements. So one, we see employment duration. So we have some states that say, hey, you can't start accruing paid sick leave until you have been working for maybe 90 days. 90 days is one that we see used across a lot of jurisdiction, and that's a common time frame we see. We also have employee type. So whether somebody is full-time, part-time, or temporary workers. So we do see certain states that do have laws around paid sick leave when it comes to temporary workers, such as Connecticut. Or you can also base it around hours worked. So there may be a minimum hours work threshold that you may have to abide by. And then next we have carryover rules, something we're probably all familiar with. So being able to carry over those paid sick leave hours, or if you have to pay them out at the end of the year, you'll see different approaches to this. And then usage caps. So typically, again, up to 24 or 48 hours seems to be the popular rate that a lot of states go with. But outside of these, there are a lot of different trends that you'll see. So one of them is industry specific trends. Places like hospitality or healthcare may have their own accrual rules. You may see things for seasonal workers. Then some states have local jurisdictions that have their own approaches to paid sick leave, while other states just have one statewide policy. So there's a lot of different approaches that you'll see, even things such as like employee limits. So you'll also see states that may have, hey, if you have 5 employees, this is how much that you have to accrue for paid sick leave versus if you have 10 to 50, 100 plus. So there's a lot of different approaches that you can see as states take paid sick leave. So of course, I won't go into all of these in specific, but these are states that do have mandated paid sick leave. Within these states, states such as California and New York do have local jurisdictions that have approaches of paid sick leave. Another example, New York also has employee count paid sick leave mandates. But you guys would have to remember all these states. We will be sharing out a recording of this deck. We'll also be sharing out a document that you can download that will outline all the regulations when it comes to paid sick leave for these states, including those local jurisdictions. And so you guys will have this download for you. So let's talk about some paid sick leave changes coming for 2025. So first, let's start with Alaska. Starting July 1st, 2025, employees will accrue 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. For Missouri, beginning May 1st, 2025, employees will be entitled to earn 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. For Nebraska, beginning on October 1st, 2025, employees are entitled to earn 1 hour paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. For Delaware, starting January 1st, 2025, paid sick leave to employees has been employed for at least 1 year and at least 1,250 hours with a single employer will be able to accrue paid sick leave. And then Connecticut, we see some big changes coming to Connecticut for paid sick leave. So starting January 1st, 2025, coverage will expand to nearly all occupants, including seasonal and temporary workers, and lowers the threshold from 25 plus employees that we see now in 2025, and then in 2026 it will lower to 11 plus employees, and then in 2027 we'll see it go to all employees. So Connecticut is taking a tiered approach to making sure that all employees are receiving paid sick leave coverage by 2027. And now we're going to pass things over to Amber.
Thanks, Jerica. So Greenshades can help out with maintaining compliance with paid sick leave regulations. We offer paid sick leave based support by state. So as Jerica mentioned, paid sick leave policies vary from place to place, and tracking accruals can get complicated fast if you have employees working in multiple work locations with different accrual requirements. In those scenarios, we can help out with ensuring employees are accruing time off at the correct rate for their particular work location at any given time. We also can help out with streamlining compliance. Sick leave codes can be linked to locations to automate tracking and maintain balances across states. If an employee works in a location that has a specific paid sick leave code associated with it, we'll automatically assign that time off code to the employee. Our paid sick leave automation is supported by robust reporting that provides information on time off balances, usage, and accruals for each individual code. So if you're tracking time off by location, you'll always have access to the detailed information on where those hours were accrued. Here, we're looking at some of the time off code setup within Greenshades. With our payroll platform, you'll be able to set up your pay codes and then configure corresponding time off codes. Based on what's processed in payroll, time off balances will accrue according to the parameters you've set up. We support a variety of accrual methods, including fixed annually, fixed by hire date, fixed per pay run, hourly per pay run, hourly per location, or mandated by state and municipality, and various caps and other requirements such as years of service can be built into those various accrual options. As I mentioned, we can help out with accurately calculating time off accruals based on hours worked in a specific location. In this screenshot, we have a few different work locations with various accrual rules configured. When we see an employee working in a work location that has specific rules like this set up, we're automatically going to assign the appropriate time off code to that particular employee and begin accruing. That way, there's no need to assign that code to the employee outside of this workflow. It's going to help ensure that any mandatory state or local accrual requirements are being followed, even when you have employees changing work locations.
Amber, I love this automation because it can be so complex. I can believe if you have employees who are working just to state Illinois, but maybe literally just going to a different county and having to worry about tracking that manually. So I think this automation is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We can set up different states, cities, and municipalities. So no matter how granular the rules you have to follow are for your organization, we can help out with ensuring you never miss any hours that need tracking. And then our automated accruals help reduce the amount of manual work needed and reduce the risk of noncompliance. Um, Here we're taking a look at the employee experience. So, through the Green Employee Portal, employees can view their time off balances, review company time off policies and holiday schedules, and submit new time off requests. In this screenshot, we're seeing the employee only has two different time off types to choose from, but those two time off buckets may represent time accrued at various rates across multiple work locations. The approval process for these time off requests is flexible. Time off requests can be routed to the employee's manager, a Greenshades online admin, or require both levels of approval. And then once those requests are approved, we can automatically add an appointment to the approver's Outlook calendar as a reminder.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amber, for taking us through the Green Shade solution. I think these updates are amazing and really great for employers who have employees operating in one state with paid sick leave laws into maybe employees working across multiple jurisdictions, whether that's state or local. So we want to create a better employee management experience when it comes to handling paid sick leave. As Amber just covered, it's really important for employees to have access to one, not only having that instant paid sick leave visibility, but also to be able to make sure things such as their home address is updated. So if they are working remote, we can make sure we're pulling in our proper work location when it comes to making sure they're getting their proper paid sick leave coverage. And then being able again to just have that detailed view into seeing their paid sick leave. It helps on the employer side because you reduce those inquiries when it comes to, hey, how much time have I accrued? How much time do I have off? What am I able to pull from? Having employees have that instant visibility can save time on your end. And then again, allowing them to put in those requests easily, as well as seeing, hey, what team members have off and making sure that they have coverage, I think is a great feature. So, employee self service is a great way to empower your employees to take control of their paid sick leave and delegate some of those responsibilities to making sure that they understand their coverage and they're able to request off and they're able to stay compliant by keeping their information updated. And then next, bring up time for your team. By automating a lot of these processes on the back end, you can save a lot of time during payroll processing. So, as Amber mentioned, setting up those locations on the back end. So, when your employees are working and they're clocking in and we're tracking those locations, when you come to run payroll, you're automatically pulling in those accrual methods and you're not having to go through every single pay run and make sure that this code is attached, so this person is getting what they need. And then always making sure that you're communicating with your team of any of these updates, attending things like this webinar, keeping an eye on your state and local regulations will help keep your team compliant and making sure that you're covering all your bases for both your employees to making sure they have the resources they need to get the most out of their paid sick leave and also keeping your organization compliant. And systems like Greenshades, we're sure to keep you updated with any compliance changes, whether it comes to minimum wage, overtime, and keeping you educated about things like paid sick leave changes.
Erica?
And then, as Amber mentioned, too, being able to keep those records on the back end. And so, when it comes to any audits or any questions about paid sick leave, you have that reporting, and your organization is able to remain compliant in case of any inquiries that you need to look into.
Jerica, can you hear me?
Yes.
There was a question. Is the tracking only for those who are using Greenshades for payroll? I believe the answer is yes. But if you are interested in learning more about Greenshades payroll, please let us know and we can see how this can work with what you currently have configured in your solution.
Yes, as Danica mentioned, please feel free to reach out to Greenshades. Somebody on our side will be happy to give you more information about the paid sick leave and how it works with our payroll and how we can help your organization. All right, so at Greenshades, I know we talked a lot about the paid sick leave piece. We have a great payroll solution that is in-house and flexible to meet the demands of your business and configurable to feature unique payroll and business needs. We have a human resource platform able to create personalized onboarding experience help you manage your employees, employee self-service, track certifications and licensings, and much more. Our benefits administration platform is made to help with open enrollment, track life events, and help create those 1090C files and track ACA coverage year round. Tax and compliance, where Greenshades started. Um, we are able to handle those payroll tax returns, year-end filings, and any other information returns that your organization needs to file. And lastly, our time and labor management, which also works great for our paid sick leave. So as your employees are working, we're able to track those locations and tie them to your payroll. So when you go to run payroll, we're automatically accounting for those locations to make sure that you're adhering to minimum wage, overtime, paid sick leave laws, and those tax withholdings. So some key takeaways is to keep track of compliance changes. As I mentioned, there are some changes coming this year for paid sick leave, as well as changes for minimum wage. We just had the overtime for salary workers compliance change. So you want to make sure that you're keeping track of compliance changes. Softwares like Greenshades work to keep you automatically compliant. So when you're looking at enhancing your compliance management, making sure that you're working with a provider that automatically keeps track of these updates without you needing to go in and manually update your software. And then automating your payroll processes. As Amber talked about, a lot of the configuration is set up, things you set up on the back end can help you be successful during your payroll processing, saving your team time and resources. So we like to thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to open the floor to any Q&A.
Does this work through Bullhorn or e-impact specifically?
Using Bullhorn and using Greenshades payroll with Bullhorn, there should be no issue with our paid sick leave tracking working for you.
Awesome. Well, again, we would like to say thank you guys for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at support@greenshades.com. Or if you would like to see a personalized demo, or if you have any questions for our sales team, please feel free to contact us at sales@greenshades.com. And again, look for that recap. Just give us a day or two to get that information together for you so you can have the downloaded paid sick leave updates.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.